The moment the first newborn slid into Dr. Vicky's gloved hands froze. It was hairless, translucent, with a pulsing light moving beneath its skin like living fire. Her face drained of all color as the creature's eyes snapped open, fully aware, tracking her movements with impossible intelligence. She whispered, voice cracking with terror. "These shouldn't exist. Before we proceed, drop your locations in the comments right now, and when this story ends, rate it from 0 to 10. Set? Let's dive in." The rain arrived before midnight, but Stella woke to something worse than thunder. Molly was pacing. The German Shepherd moved in tight circles across the living room floor, her nails clicking in rhythm with the storm. Back and forth, corner to corner, her ears swiveling toward sounds that weren't there. Her belly hung so low it nearly dragged against the hardwood, stretched to a size that made Stella's stomach twist with unease. Stella sat up, rubbing her eyes. "Molly, girl, what's wrong?" Molly didn't turn. She just kept moving, whining low in her throat, eyes locked on the darkened hallway. The lights flickered. Thunder groaned overhead. Stella crossed the room and knelt beside her dog, placing both hands on Molly's swollen belly. The fur was damp with sweat, and beneath her palms she felt something shift, something strong, deliberate, pushing back against her touch. Her breath caught. Molly yelped suddenly, her whole body seizing. The contraction ripped through her with a force that didn't seem natural, and she collapsed onto her side, panting hard. Stella's hands shook as she grabbed her phone. The emergency clinic answered on the second ring. "My dog, she's pregnant, she's in labor, something's wrong, Bring her now," the receptionist said, her voice sharp with urgency after hearing Molly's guttural groaning in the background. "Don't wait." The drive through the storm felt endless. Rain hammered the windshield. Molly lay across the back seat, wheezing, pressing her head into Stella's hand every time she reached back. Inside the clinic, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Molly was lifted onto a cold steel table. Her belly looked impossibly distended, her breathing shallow and erratic. Dr. Vicky bent over her, frowning deeply as she pressed a stethoscope to Molly's side. "She's in active labor," Dr. Vicky said quietly, "but something is wrong. Her contractions are too hard. Too close together." The machines began to beep irregularly. Molly's eyes rolled, unfocused, her body trembling. Dr. Vicky glanced at Stella, then back at Molly. "We need to deliver now." Dr. Vicky snapped on a pair of latex gloves, her movements quick and practiced. Her assistant, a young man named Marcus, positioned himself beside Molly, hands steadying the German Shepherd's trembling hindquarters. Molly's breathing came in short, desperate gasps as another contraction seized her body. "Here it comes," Dr. Vicky said. The lights flickered once, twice. Then the first newborn emerged. Dr. Vicky caught it in her palms and went completely still. It was hairless. Translucent skin stretched over a small, writhing body. But beneath that skin, something glowed. A faint, pulsing light moved through it like blood made of fire, rhythmic and alive. The creature's eyes opened immediately, not the cloudy, blind gaze of a newborn puppy, but fully aware, tracking movement with unsettling intelligence. Dr. Vicky staggered backward, her face draining of color. These shouldn't exist." Molly's head snapped up. Her lips curled back, a deep growl rumbling from her chest as she stared at the corner of the room at nothing, in empty air. Stella pressed herself against the wall, her heart hammering. What is that?" Another contraction hit. The monitors spiked wildly, numbers jumping erratically before the screens flickered and glitched. Metal trays on the counter began to rattle, vibrating against the surface. The newborn in Dr. Vicky's hands released a sound, soft, harmonic, not quite a cry. It resonated through the room like a tuning fork struck inside Stella's skull. Marcus stumbled, pressing a hand to his temple. "What?" Molly convulsed again, harder this time. Her body arched unnaturally. Dr. Vicky's voice came out strangled. "There's another one." The second newborn began to emerge, and the lights went out completely. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing the room in a sickly red glow. Dr. Vicky's hands moved on instinct, catching the second newborn as it slid free. This one was different. Its limbs were elongated, joints bending at angles that seemed almost insectoid. Where the first had translucent skin, this one had shimmering membranes stretched across its closed eyes, not eyelids, but something thinner, iridescent. "My God," Marcus whispered. Molly whimpered, her tongue darting out to lick the strange creatures, maternal instinct warring with visible distress. Her ears flattened against her skull as she stared upward, growling at the ceiling where nothing moved. The third newborn came faster. Metallic flecks glittered beneath its skin like scattered stars, forming patterns along its spine. It twisted in Dr. Vicky's trembling hands, surprisingly strong. "This can't be happening," she breathed. Stella stayed pressed against the wall, tears streaming down her face, but she wouldn't leave, couldn't leave. "Molly." The fourth contraction hit like an explosion. Molly's entire body seized. The monitors screamed, then died. The overhead lights shattered, raining glass, and darkness swallowed everything. In the blackness, the newborns began to glow. 4 small bodies pulsed with soft bioluminescence blue, then violet, then back to blue, all in perfect synchronization. Their combined light-painted shadows across the walls, turning the clinic into something alien. The fourth newborn emerged with a sound that wasn't animal. A pure tone, sustained and resonant, that vibrated through bone and made Stella's teeth ache. Dr. Vicky stood frozen, watching the creatures pulse and hum together. She reached for the afterbirth with shaking hands, using a scalpel to extract a tissue sample. She slipped it into a vial and pocketed it quickly, glancing at Marcus to ensure he hadn't seen. "Nothing like this exists in known biology," she whispered. Stella stared at the glowing newborns clustered near Molly's exhausted body. They weren't gasping, weren't struggling. They were thriving. Dr. Vicky moved to the lab station in the corner, her hands unsteady as she loaded the tissue sample into the rapid genetic analyzer. Marcus watched Molly while Stella remained motionless, staring at the glowing newborns with hollow eyes. The machine hummed. Minutes crawled by. When the results appeared on screen, Dr. Vicky gripped the counter's edge to keep from falling. 40% canine, standard German Shepherd markers. 30% matched an extinct Paleolithic wolf species that hadn't walked the earth in 12,000 years. The remaining 30% are unclassified, unknown, sequences that didn't exist in any terrestrial database she had access to. And beneath the genetic readout, a note flagged in red. Anomalous electromagnetic signature detected in cellular structure. Her stomach turned. These weren't mutants. This wasn't natural. This wasn't even accidental. They were engineered. "Stella," Dr. Vicky said quietly, her voice trembling. "Come here." Stella approached on shaking legs. Dr. Vicky guided her to Molly's side and gently lifted a section of fur along her abdomen. There, barely visible beneath the coat, was a thin surgical scar, precise and deliberate. Dr. Vicky parted the fur further. Burned into Molly's skin, dark against the flesh, was a micro barcode. 12 digits. Alphanumeric, permanent. Stella's knees buckled. She collapsed beside the table, sobbing into her hands. "No! No! No! No!" "Molly wasn't impregnated," Dr. Vicky whispered. "She was implanted." Marcus turned pale. "Who would do this?" Dr. Vicky straightened, her mind racing. "We need to move these newborns somewhere division-level agencies can't find them." She turned toward the supply cabinet and froze. Through the rain-streaked window, 3 black vans pulled into the parking lot. Headlights cutting through the storm. Doors opened. Figures in tactical gear stepped out, moving with military precision. They were already too late. Dr. Vicky's eyes darted to the security monitor mounted above the reception desk. The grainy feed showed 3 black vans forming a perimeter around the clinic entrance. An SUV bristling with satellite dishes parked behind them, its equipment humming with electronic malice even through the silent footage. 6 agents emerged, dressed in black tactical uniforms, weapons holstered but visible. They moved with practiced efficiency, spreading across the parking lot like chess pieces claiming territory. Then a woman stepped out of the lead van. Even on the low-resolution screen, her presence commanded attention. She wore no helmet, no vest, just a crisp black jacket and a badge clipped to her belt that reflected in the van's headlights. Division 77, Bio-Threat Response. The clinic lights died, not flickering, just gone. The entire building plunged into darkness except for the newborn's pulsing glow and the red emergency backup lights. They cut the grid, Marcus breathed. Dr. Vicky's blood turned to ice. She'd attended classified veterinary military conferences and heard whispered stories about Division 77. They didn't rescue. They didn't negotiate. They seized, sanitized, erased. "Help me," she hissed, already moving. She grabbed the nearest newborn and it trembled in her hands, its internal light pulsing rapidly, erratically, like a heart monitor detecting danger. The others began writhing, their harmonic hum rising in pitch. They knew. "Dr. Bimdin." Vicky yanked open the heavy door of the lead-lined oxygen chamber used for radiation cases and carefully placed each newborn inside. "This will block their tracking signals. Marcus towels, now!" Stella stumbled forward, still crying, helping to cushion the chamber floor. Molly struggled to her feet despite her exhaustion, blood still matting her hindquarters. Her ears pinned flat. A low, guttural growl built in her chest, not fear, but rage. Maternal. Primal. Outside, boots pounded against wet pavement. The front door handle rattled. Then someone began cutting through the lock. The front door exploded inward with a metallic screech. Glass shattered across the reception floor. Alarms shrieked through the building as tactical boots pounded into the lobby. Dr. Vicky slammed her palm against the emergency lockdown panel. Steel shutters dropped across interior corridors with heavy thuds, buying them seconds, maybe a minute. The female agent's voice cut through the chaos, sharp and commanding. "Secure the specimens! Do not harm the host animal unless necessary!" Specimens. Not puppies. Not animals. Specimens. Molly's growl erupted into a snarl. She launched herself toward the corridor entrance, teeth bared, weakened legs stumbling but fury driving her forward. An agent raised his weapon. "Don't shoot the dog!" the woman barked. Molly collided with the first agent's shin, jaws snapping. He cursed, staggering backward. "Go!" Dr. Vicky screamed. She and Stella threw their weight against the oxygen chamber, wheels screeching as they shoved it down the service hallway toward the rear exit. Marcus grabbed the IV stand, pulling it along. Boots thundered behind them. The steel shutter groaned, then buckled. Agents poured through. "Stop! Federal authority!" They rounded the corner. The back exit was 20 feet away. 10 feet. 5. Agents blocked the doorway, weapons raised. "End of the line," one said. Inside the chamber, the newborns began to vibrate. Their glow intensified, pulsing faster, brighter, synchronized into a single blinding rhythm. The harmonic hum rose to a piercing frequency that made Stella's vision blur. Then they screamed. Not a cry, not a whimper. A pure, resonant tone that shattered reality. Every light in the clinic exploded. Electronic locks fried with the smell of burning circuits. The agents dropped to their knees, hands clamped over their ears, faces contorted. Windows spiderwebbed with cracks, trembling in their frames. The newborn's cry echoed through the darkness like a weapon. Dr. Vicky stared at the chamber, breathless. No one designed this. Or maybe someone did. The back door burst open. Cold rain hammered Stella's face as Dr. Vicky shoved the oxygen chamber through the exit. Thunder cracked overhead, turning the night into flickering strobe light. "Move! Move!" Dr. Vicky dragged the chamber toward Stella's SUV parked at the edge of the lot. Marcus helped lift it into the back seat while Molly limped behind them, panting hard. Inside the clinic, agents were stirring, groaning, recovering. They had seconds. Dr. Vicky gripped Stella's shoulders, rain streaming between them. "Take Molly. Take the litter. Follow the coordinates. I'm sending you a bunker in the woods. Government surplus abandoned. Go!" "What about you?" "I'll stall them." Dr. Vicky's eyes were fierce. "Now!" Stella threw herself into the driver's seat. Molly collapsed in the passenger side, blood-streaked and trembling. The newborns hummed softly from their chamber in the back. Stella's phone buzzed. Coordinates appeared on screen. She slammed the accelerator. Behind her, Dr. Vicky ran back into the clinic. The female agent was on her feet, steadying herself against the wall. "Where are they?" "East Access Road," Dr. Vicky gasped, pointing in the opposite direction. "Biological contamination class 4. The specimens are unstable. You need hazmat protocols." "Show me your data." Dr. Vicky moved to her lab station. The agent followed. In one fluid motion, Dr. Vicky grabbed a steel tray and smashed her computer monitor. Sparks flew. The hard drive cracked. "Oops." The agent's eyes went cold. Outside, Stella's taillights disappeared into the storm. Miles away, deep in the forest, Stella's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. Rain battered the windshield. The GPS directed her down a barely visible dirt road. Behind her, the newborns began humming a different tone now. Soft, rhythmic, gentle. Molly's breathing steadied. Her eyes closed. They were soothing her. Stella's hands trembled as she drove deeper into the darkness. The bunker was exactly where the coordinates said it would be, a concrete structure half buried in the hillside, camouflaged by decades of overgrowth. Stella dragged the oxygen chamber inside, Molly limping behind her. The interior was cold, utilitarian. Concrete walls, steel shelves, emergency lighting flickered on automatically, casting long shadows. Stella opened the chamber and carefully lifted each newborn onto blankets spread across the floor. They immediately clustered around Molly, their soft glow illuminating the space like bioluminescent tide pools at night. Blue, violet, then back to blue, pulsing together. Stella watched, transfixed. One newborn reached toward another. The second mirrored the movement. They touched skin to translucent skin, and their glow synchronized perfectly. When Molly whimpered, they all turned toward her in unison, humming that gentle, soothing tone. They weren't just alive. They were aware, communicating, feeling. The bunker door groaned open. Stella spun, heart lurching. Dr. Vicky stumbled in, soaked and bleeding from a cut above her eyebrow. She slammed the door behind her, breathing hard. "I lost them, for now. Vicky, listen to me." Dr. Vicky dropped to her knees beside the newborns, staring at them with haunted eyes. "I ran more analysis before I destroyed the computer. Stella, their cells don't degrade. They regenerate. Continuously. Do you understand what that means?" Stella shook her head, tears streaming. "These newborns aren't born to die. They don't age like normal organisms. Someone engineered Molly to be the mother of immortal prototypes." The word hung in the air like a curse. Immortal. Stella collapsed onto the floor, grief and wonder and terror colliding in her chest. Molly licked her strange children, protective and exhausted. A sharp beep pierced the silence. Dr. Vicky's eyes shot to the bunker's motion sensor panel. Red lights blinked urgently across the display. Movement detected. Perimeter breach. Multiple targets approaching. Division 77 had found them. Through the bunker's single grimy window, Stella saw shadows moving between the trees, spreading out in tactical formation. Flashlight beams cut through the rain like searchlights hunting prey. The newborns sensed it. Their glow intensified, pulsing faster. They huddled together in a tight cluster, 4 small bodies radiating light that painted the concrete walls in shifting shades of blue and violet. Stella knelt beside them, her voice breaking. "I'll protect you, no matter what you are." One of the newborns, the one with metallic flecks, turned its head toward her. Its eyes held something impossibly old, impossibly aware. A speaker crackled outside. The female agent's voice echoed through the forest. "Surrender the prototypes. The dog and civilian will not be harmed. You have 60 seconds. Dr. Vicky grabbed Stella's arm. "They're lying. They'll sanitize everything, including us." Thunder rolled overhead. The bunker trembled. Rain hammered the metal roof like artillery fire. Molly positioned herself between her babies and the door, hackles raised, teeth bared. 50 seconds. The newborns began to hum. It started soft, almost inaudible. Then it grew a unified tone that vibrated through the floor, the walls, the air itself. The emergency lights flickered wildly. Metal shelves rattled. Outside, agents' voices rose in confusion as their communication devices sparked and died. The forest plunged into darkness. "Now!" Dr. Vicky yanked open a rusted hatch in the floor. Stella hadn't noticed a maintenance tunnel, narrow and black. Stella scooped up the nearest newborn, its warmth spreading through her arms, its light illuminating her tear-streaked face. "Doctor?" Vicky grabbed 2 more. Molly jumped into the tunnel first, instinct driving her forward. They ran. Behind them, boots pounded against the bunker door. Metal screamed as it gave way. Stella burst from the tunnel exit into rain-soaked woods, clutching the glowing newborn against her chest. Molly limped beside her, and Dr. Vicky followed with the others. Flashlights swept the trees behind them. The hunt had just begun. Did Stella and Molly's story captivate you? Share your rating from 0 to 10 in the comments and tell us what you think. Smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you will never miss our next story.